Yeah, Nick here with Loud Thumbs. Going to chat about some Avatar. I want to bring you a review on it. Just finished the primary game. DLC is in the works, so continue for that. Continue watching because I'll be talking about that here. At some point. It's another like 10 hours or so, so it's nothing like super in depth, but I'm enjoying the game, so I want to play some DLC. I actually picked this up on the PlayStation 5. DLC included with my purchase. I did the deluxe edition, which was it might have been the gold edition. It's the one that comes. It's not the $109 version. It's this. I think it was like in $80 or $90 version. Excuse me, but it was like on sale. Got it for like $30 or $39 or something like that. So very much worth it. I got one more DLC pack coming after this one, but that does not release until December, so you have to wait on that one, and so will I. But I want to talk about it. I'm going to do this in a different kind of way. Typically, when I do a review, I've got like cut footage and everything, that kind of stuff going on. Trying to do something a little bit different. Try to make it a little bit maybe easier on my side. Let me know what you guys think of this method. I was going to play the game, but I'm in the DLC right now, and it does not let me revert back until I finish the DLC. So I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, so I'm not going to play the game. But I do have saved footage on my PlayStation, so I'm going to pop over to that and just kind of show you guys stuff as I'm chatting about it. I'm just going to kind of let it play in the background. That's kind of what a lot of these guys do on, a lot of the reviews that I see as well, is just kind of talk over footage, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get started with that. I'm going to flip over, show you guys some footage here. So there'll be a little bit of audio from the game going on as well. And then I'll just kind of go over my tidbits and talk about some of the footage as time goes by. But yeah, stick with me. Bring this review to you guys. Hit me up in chat if you've played it. And let's talk about the game here as I'm reviewing it. So this will be kind of a new way of doing that. It'll be fun. So let me get this started here. We're going to flip over and show you guys some footage. So yeah, at this point in the game, it's pretty early on. All the footage you guys are going to see from me here, but yeah, it's. Hang on a second, I'm having some audio. I'm actually not hearing that. I don't know if you guys are going to hear that or not. Let's figure this out real quick. Okay, you guys are probably hearing that. Let me lower it back down. I have a little audio issue. I could not hear the game. Hopefully y'all could. But anyway, I want to talk about some of the good, okay? So as you watch some of this footage here, the fluidity in this game is some of the best I've seen. It is so smooth. Don't make fun of my aim. My aim's not great. I'm an old man. But it is so smooth, and it gets so much better as you continue to play through it. You end up with like double jumps, and you get abilities to jump higher. You can like hold and jump higher. But the running, the jumping, you're able to climb pretty much anything in this game. There's no yellow lines to tell you what to climb to, guys. So the yellow paint is nowhere in existence in this game. So that'll be something for all the haters out there to like, at least from this game. But yes, the movement, the fluidity is great. It feels like you are an avatar. You're this huge 10-foot, behemoth. You're punching dudes across the map, and everything just real smooth. But I was very impressed with the traversing in this game. You're able to just get across it so quickly and so smoothly, and it held up frame rate pretty good. There are times where I did have issues where I saw it did drop, but nothing super drastic. There was a few moments where I did see some heavy drops, but yeah, some of the weapons too, you can see here, like just explosions look great. Everything just feels cool, and I don't know, it just fits the world. Like this game kept bringing me back because the world's so rich. There's so much stuff to see and understand and find that I don't know. It just felt great. A lot of people call this a Far Cry clone. I didn't think so. I mean, there are pieces, but you can pick any first-person shooter and say, hey, it's a Far Cry clone. It's made by Ubisoft, so I think that was the easiest way to say so. But for me, it really isn't. The world is so different. The things you're able to do are so much more. and it makes it makes no sense. So while we're looking at it right now, okay, so I'm gonna pause this. The teal orb, okay, that you see in the screen there, you use a avatar vision. It's basically a vision where you hone into the planet of Pandora, and you get to see where your missions are, or what, like, pieces of oh, there's tech laying around, or like boxes that the RDA have left. There's plants, there's animals, all these things. You can kind of see them with this, like, kind of a Batman type vision. I kind of chalked it up to like sort of like Splinter Cell or Assassin's Creed in a way, where you can kind of see through walls and stuff. But this little orb here shows you where your checkpoint is. Not a big fan of this in the game, so I got to talk about it while it's up on screen real quick. I was constantly going in and out of that vision starting off in the game, like I was here. Um, and it tells you where to go, tells you people to find things to do. But it I used a pinpoint, so I went to the map as I got further into the game, and a waypoint, not a pinpoint, but I started putting a waypoint down where it wanted me to go, because see, I'm constantly going in and out of this vision, trying to figure out where it wants me to go and what it wants me to do. Um, and it's good when you're right here and there, like you see here on screen, but it was not good when you're trying to fly across the map and you kept kind of losing your way a little bit, right? Um, so anyway, back to some of the stuff here. Some more of the good shooting feels great, whether it's the Navi weapons or whether it's the RDA weapons. Which RDA, I'm gonna say in this a lot. RDA is actually the humans in the game. That is their names. Um, so they whether it's them or their weapons, or whether it's your own weapons, the Navi weapons, they all felt great to use. They were fantastic. So uh, I loved it. The upgrades in the game were really great as well. Being able to upgrade pretty much everything, like what you see on your arms, on your character, on your body, all of those things can be upgraded. Um, and it gains you either stealth, or it gains you damage, or it gains you health, or I mean pretty much what you're used to uh, from a video game. You know what I mean? It's pretty cut and paste, pretty cut and dry. Like, what you're gonna upgrade. It's done in a different way, so it's done to where it makes sense for the world, and it was really very fitting for Pandora. Um, and speaking of the world, that is one of my huge positives. This area of the game right here is called the Uplands, or the Upper Plains, I think they called it. Um, so rich. I mean, it's gorgeous. The game looks fantastic. The visuals blew me away. A lot of people slept on this game, I think, and I'm one of them. I mean, I wanted to play it. I was actually really pumped for it, but when it came out, it was around Christmas time. I was super busy. I didn't have the time to sit down and play. We all get there, right? Um, and I regret not doing it. This is easily a $70 title to me. Fantastic. I got a deal, and I'm gonna get the DLC and stuff with it, but and not even pay $70. But this is just an awesome section of the game right here. Really going on a nice ride. You get you mount one of your ground mounts for the first time here, and you just kind of get to enjoy some music finally, and the world, and you just get to have some chats with some of your Navi pals that have not seen the world yet, and you kind of expressing your joy and your love of it. But speaking of music real quick, that was another kind of downfall to the game. As I kept playing the game and I got about 15 hours in, I realized a lot of it is missing. There is not a lot of music in this game, and I was really bummed about that, because this game and the movies, to me, they very much, they need to go together. Like, there needs to be music at the same time, and it wasn't there. So what I ended up doing was I actually ended up putting the soundtrack on Spotify, and I have my Spotify attached to my PlayStation, and I just kind of let it play. And it came up with some pretty cool moments actually that just fit in really well. And I was kind of more disappointed then, because it so many games and music go together hand in hand, and this just didn't do it for me. So I was a little bummed about that, but I get it. Something stopped them from doing it. There's a lot of moments in the game that are pretty serious, so maybe they didn't know what kind of music to put with it or whatever. But definitely in the negative column that there was not enough music in the game fitting properly to what I think most people would have expected from any sort of game with a movie tie-in. You expect to hear that music. So a little bit of a tip there. If you just throw on the soundtrack from Spotify, it really did up the game quite a bit. Um, I already talked about the graphics a little bit. They're fantastic. I mean, they're absolutely mind blowing how good they look. I'm gonna flip it back over here and show you guys this here. This is some of the footage that I did capture for some of the upgrades and things that you see inside the game. This is one of the main home trees that you continue to go back and forth to. It becomes one of your main fast travels. But as you can see, you can go in here and you can purchase from them. In the bottom right hand corner, you'll see sort of that's like your currency. So if you see like the little flowery type, figure or, icons around this circle, this spiral, the more you fill that spiral, the more you can, unlock things. So as you can see here on screen, certain things are certain colors. So green is very basic. Purple is what they call superior. And then there's like a gold or a yellow that's exquisite. And you can find them certain places. Sometimes, you got to go hunt for them. You got to take your time. So you got to be a little more stealthy, or you got to know where to go, and you got to kind of read the map correctly. So I liked those things. It actually kind of made me like the world more. It really dug in and really made you kind of really, really focus on the world of Pandora, which Pandora is the main focus of the game. Like it's the planet, like the planet is alive, right? If you're not familiar with Avatar. Um, so it was like this whole giant character that, you're really trying to focus on. And it's enormous. Like the map in the game is absolutely ginormous. One of the biggest maps I've ever seen. I don't know the exact square footage or, how big it is to compare, but honestly, for me, I didn't unlock the whole thing, and I had right around 50 hours in it before I hit the DLC. And I feel like this is at least as big as Grand Theft Auto 5's map. It might even be bigger, especially when you add the DLC. When you add the DLC, you get a whole nother section of Pandora opened up, and then immediately I feel like it's definitely bigger. But the upgrades and everything you can see here, this is just very early on, so there's not a whole lot to choose from. Um, but it is pretty nice. And I do actually want to mention, as we talk about upgrades, there's another character you can visit at the home tree that will give you beads, and you can use the beads to actually unlock the ability to upgrade things. So you can take her something that's just superior, and she'll upgrade it to exquisite. You buy the beads, and you buy the ability to do that. So that's kind of cool. The game has daily challenges in it that allow you to earn the points to get the beads. So that's super cool as well. Um, so yeah, like it took a little bit of learning. There was probably at least a 4 or 5 hour learning curve going on in this game for me. Learning to cook with certain things, which is what this is right here. You can see. You know how to make certain meals, and then once you do, I barely cooked once I started learning how everything worked, and I just made my pouch big enough where I just went in and just it was always constantly full of things. So I might just eat some of the raw stuff, or I would make foods a lot like you would see in like Zelda, Breath of the Wild. You mix things together, you get certain attributes depending on the quality of what you mix in will increase, the amount of time you can be stealthily, or the how long you get extra damage, or anything along those lines. So that's part of it. I enjoyed that. This is the map, so I'm going to pause it for a second. This is a very small point of the map. I don't know if I zoom out on this. I can't recall. But the map is absolutely enormous. Um, I was blown away with how big the map is. I got to stop talking about that, but I really was. I was like, holy cow, this is crazy. Um, so let me get some other footage here for you guys. Some of the bummers, things I saw here and there that were kind of like really was one of them was the pop in. Like you did start seeing a lot of pop in. Um, I say a lot. I mean, it was noticeable, right? But it wasn't like unforgivable. It wasn't that bad. So yeah, mostly when you start flying, when you get your Ecron and you're able to fly around, that's when you noticed it a lot more. Um, so here's some of the combat. I might as well show you some of this real quick here. This is a mid point of the game probably. Once I really got this slingshot upgraded, it was like, yeah, nobody could touch me. It was pretty cool. Um, Using some of the RDA weapons at this point in the game, you can see um, it it felt so solid, such a good solid first person shooter. Again, I'm gonna say it. People slept on this game. You guys should go buy this game. Check this game out. Wintertime's coming up. You got plenty of time. I already mentioned getting in and out of the map. I started using waypoints, but you had to go in and out of the map a lot, which kind of sucked because there is no mini map. I kind of get why they did that. It would have kind of crowded the screen. As you can see, there's already plenty of stuff on the screen here. Your top right that you see on screen are things you have pinned that you want to go look for, which actually show up as a different color. They'll show up as yellow on the map when you use the vision, which is kind of cool. Then top left, you're going to see the things you need to do as far as objectives. Bottom right is going to be like your grenades and what ammo you have actually set up currently with the weapon you're using. So there is a lot going on. In top middle, you can see there's your compass and your waypoints and stuff you can put out. But I kind of forgave it over time. It became less of a problem, but it was still a problem that you had to go in and out of the map pretty constantly. I did have to reload a few times in the game because of fast travel and glitches and things like that. Quests wouldn't show up at times, stuff like that. So there were little glitches and things like that they should have been fixed by now. We're talking like a year later now, guys. So we could have got something by now, but and it did take a lot longer before I got an Ecron to be able to fly. I feel like that process should have been sped up, and it probably would have kept more people in the game for longer. Because once you do get that, it was just a nice, just way of life in the video game. Like it just opened up so many more things, allowing you to get to other locations, find newer, cooler, places to go and play around at and stuff as well, which was kind of cool. I do have a note down here. The map was almost too big, and I still think I agree with that. Even at the end of playing the game, I think it was just a little bit bloated. I don't think it was too bloated though. You didn't have to do everything on it, but it just kind of made it a little bit easier to be able to do those things. With it being a little bit more condensed, probably kind of could have kept a little more concise track to your gameplay loop. That would have been kind of nice to see, but not a huge problem, but still a little bit of a negative. The waypoints in the game. I've already mentioned those, I guess, so I really won't talk too much more about those. Another pro tip, though, that I want to tell you guys about is to use the automatic puzzles for hacking. Okay, so there's multiple things you can go in and turn on in accessibilities. One of them is puzzles, and puzzles, they just weren't fun. They were like hacking puzzles you had to do, and a lot of times you would be like very stressed because you're trying to not die, and things are shooting at you, and you're trying to get through these puzzles, and you're having to focus on them and that, and then you have to stop and go back, so on and so forth. I just turned them on automatic. They're done in fraction of the time. They didn't add anything to the game. There's a lot of them as well, so you're gonna spend a lot of time doing puzzles on this little hacker, and I would rather not. And then there's another like kind of puzzly thing where you have to like move your controller with like these hand gestures and stuff that they do, or that your character does at some point, where she or he, because you can create your own character, kind of does to symbolize connecting with their heritage or their past. It's neat. It's fine. It's very long. Those sequences needed to be much shorter. I turned those on automatic as well. I only did like 3 of those because they're just too long, and honestly they didn't really have a lot of meaning to them. There wasn't like a bunch of upgrade things I needed to get from them or from doing them. It was just one of those like, hey, I want to do all these so I can get the trophy, right? And that was really it. So turning those on, oh man, amazing change when it comes to gameplay. Just a nice added course of action. uh, streamline it a little bit better. Um, the story in the game, okay, so let's get into some of the story stuff. It's just okay. Not fantastic. It fits. It's not like they're copying and pasting anything that has already been done in the movies, so it's different enough to kind of stand on its own, which I was happy to see. Um, but again, going right back to it, the world is what kept me coming back to this game. It's gorgeous. I mean, look at this thing. Uh, it looks absolutely fantastic. All of the effects, the way the planet looks matches the way the planet looks in the movies. It's just a lot of fun to play around it, and there's plenty of stuff to do. It's all different. You can just have a blast, just kind of messing around in the world, and I did. I just kept coming back and more for that. Um, I did get stuck at level 9 for several hours, probably a good 5 or 6 hours, where I was stuck at one level. Um, really focusing on making sure you're upgrading things like your characters, or you're upgrading your weapons or your armor or anything like that is really what you need to focus on when it comes to this game. And I didn't catch on to that early enough. So that's kind of on me. But other people in the world were having the same issue. I was out there, doing my research on like, why am I stuck at level 9? There was a lot of other players kind of same problem. And I totally understood why, because it's a lot going on. And there's a lot of different pieces and mechanics that you can play around with in the game when it comes to that. Um, Once I got a handle of those and realized, oh, if I get these, certain pieces and parts, then I can make this certain bow, or I can make, this certain slingshot, or I can upgrade my guns with different ammo clips and stuff like that. I was off to the races then. Also building, certain armor and chest pieces and you get headgear, chest pieces, wristband upgrades, leg upgrades, torso upgrades. I mean, there's tons of upgrades in the game. And once you really kind of get in there and understand the mechanics of them, which again took me several hours, I was good to go. Like I was very happy with it, and I didn't have any qualms after that. Like I realized what I was doing wrong was kind of on me, and I either misread something or I probably skimmed something. I'm not 100% sure what I did, but I did probably do something wrong to kind of get stuck in that situation. But the let's see. Oh yes, I do want to talk about the transmog with the characters in the game as well. Transmogs are great. So there were several different looks you could give your character, and it was literally just a click of a button. And if you didn't want that look and you wanted to mix and match it, you could literally just take that transmog off, and it would look like what you've unlocked instead. So I was very happy about that. Um, the transmog needs to be in every game, by the way. Like that's something that Cyberpunk had wrong from the get go, and it makes your characters look really cool. And you can transmog your Ecron as well. The way my guy looks here. His name was Fury, by the way. I named him Fury. It was pretty dope. Um, but all the headgear and the chest pieces and everything he has on his tail and stuff are all part of a transmog cosmetic that you could find. Just you still get all the cool effects and the better armor effects of the other stuff, but you look pretty dope. You don't look all goofy with mix and matching RDA and Navi technology. So I was pretty pumped about that. I thought that was a pretty cool thing as well. Um, the I just found this footage here. This is some of the auto completing of those uh, mini games, I guess you want to call them. I don't know. They were really kind of annoying, but back to it though. Tons of customizations you can do with your character. Back in with along with the transmogs. I mean, you can do all kinds of different things with it. So I'm kind of getting to the tail end here. I'm just kind of wrap it up here. I got some notes written down here. I want to tell you guys all about. I'll just kind of let the footage play here while I say this. But open world is breathtaking at times, and traversing has never felt easier. Once double jump is unlocked, it's a game changer in traversing, 100%. Upgrading my character was a bit cumbersome, but once I figured out that I needed to focus on exploring and do what the designers of the game wanted me to be able to do, locate new quests or materials, needed to upgrade weapons, or even find brand new clans that would offer them up for me to purchase certain designs or better better weapons and gears, the process just became so much easier after that. I mentioned the music already. Yes, the game is missing music and it's very quiet. I'd recommend putting the Spotify on again. That's another note of mine here. Real quick wrap up on the story. The story didn't feel as meaningful as the movies, but it does have a good lesson to be learned in the end. So, what I'm saying is don't play the game strictly for the story, play it for the gameplay. The gameplay is there in the game, it's very well done. Now, as for the gameplay, the option of stealth missions, the option to stealth missions or gain oh, excuse me, guys. The option to stealth missions and gain better rewards is really nice. So that is an option. I didn't talk about that, but when you do go into a lot of these RDA sites, if you stealth in and they don't know you're there, you'll get more rewards at the end because they haven't like packed up and got out of dodge because they know you're there to destroy all of them. Like these, yeah, right here, like these searching these boxes, there'll be plenty more of them. So that was definitely a nice touch. You can tag enemies, much like Splinter Cell mechanics from Blacklist. If you played Splinter Cell, Blacklist is very much like that. And you can take them out methodically, or go in guns blazing, which that was definitely my preferred method. I did that quite often. I did take steals at times to see what I'd gain, and it usually was worth it. Stealth is what I'm supposed to say there, not steals. I got a bit of a typo on myself there. But yes, I did do stealth every once in a while just to see what kind of upgrades I would get that were more than the other stuff. And the more supplies and upgrades was a nice little added touch to be able to do stealth. It wasn't just gameplay reasons or story, or they forced you to do it. Star Wars Outlaws, you screwed that up for me. And then using fast travel points will make your gameplay experience much better as well. And it's not just that, it's the map is enormous. So the fact that the map is so big, that is going to be a huge factor when it comes down to you getting through and enjoying the game, as far as I'm concerned too. So use those fast travel points. Big pro tip. Flying is cool, but could be faster. You do kind of feel slow. I mean, you're definitely faster than you are running, but it's still, one of them situations where it's like, really, like I'm on this cool flying thing. It'd be nice to feel like I'm like, super fast, but not always the case. What else? Yeah, let's get some footage up here for you guys to check out. Eating in the game is frustrating when in combat. Okay, so that's actually something I forgot to mention. You always had to like eat something for your health, whether it be for the stamina bar or for your actual health bar. Actually, healing was fine because that was just a touch on the D-pad, and you had so many health packs you could use. But the other thing about that was when you were dying and you needed to actually heal, you couldn't, like not very easily anyway. So it became pretty cumbersome and problematic to run and gun and try to heal at the same time. Your stealth was a totally different story, but that could have been done differently. I feel like when it come down to it, the controls just kind of needed some adjusting. I think you do have a weapon wheel when it comes into the game, and your same weapon wheel is the same one you use for healing, and you have to hold like R1, and then you have to hit like right on the D-pad to get into, or I think it was L1 to get over into the eating menu, and then you still had to use your stick to find what you wanted to do to eat. And then once you found it, you'd let off and then press X. And it's like, I mean, the whole time it's happening, you pretty much have to stop running and gunning. So you kind of have to hide before you can actually eat. Taking out the bases set up by the RTAs is typically what you'll be doing in the game when it comes to everything. Because, they're like polluting the planet and your job is to kind of, save the planet. It was kind of a slog sometimes, but not all the time. Changing up from stealthing and running and gunning really made a big difference for me. So kept it from feeling so like rinse and repeat. And I don't know. Things get stale. You keep doing them the same over and over and over. Changing weapons was another thing that really spiced it up for me. Going from maybe not using RDA weapons so much to going ahead and using them when I was going to run and gun. to when I would stealth, I would jump in with bows and do other things like that, which really made a difference. Or play with new upgrades you see from your bows and stuff like that too. Hacking the mechs and things really was cool. That made a big difference too. Um, so spear, there's a spear thrower in the game too. That thing was super cool once you got really good with it. Um, it was awesome. Shotguns and rifles, they all felt really great. All the weapons and everything did. Soldiers were easily taken down with a punch or well-aimed bows. Once you got into those upgrades where you could, melee a mech was pretty sweet as well. Grabbing them and just kind of throwing them out of the mech, and I was all ragdoll physics in there too. Uh, Ragdoll physics need to come back. Bring more ragdoll physics back. You didn't kill two enemies at the same time with an explosion and see the exact same animation from both of them. That really added something for me personally. So bring those back, more video game developers out there. But yeah, solid punch or something like that from your big, 10-foot avatar would just send soldiers flying. It's absolutely hilarious and so much fun. I never got sick of seeing that. I mentioned the weapon wheel in my notes here. It's very much like Horizon Zero Dawn. You hold, you switch. Next, there's your weapon. You're good. You hold, you craft. All of that in pretty much the same way. So they took kind of the best parts of that and kept it. A really weird thing they did though was how you throw grenades. When you throw a grenade, you would have to hold square and then hit L1. That was very weird. Typically you just hit a grenade button, it'd just be a single button. I couldn't figure out any way to like maneuver this or move it to a different control scheme. There might be a way, but I just could not figure it out for the life of me. So I did not use grenades very much until like clear at the end when I was kind of really in a pickle and I had to do it. So overall, Frontiers of Pandora, very enjoyable game. Kept me coming back for over 50 hours of gameplay. And I enjoy the movies, and the game just adds to that universe, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I absolutely love that. It's just fun to see more of the planet and have my own separate story to explore, and that's kind of where it ends for me. Like, I mean, putting a score on this, I think this is easily an 8 out of 10, easily. There are just some things, very small, minor things that can kind of get in the way, but I never had any, enormous game breaking bugs. I did have a couple reloads that I had to do to, get back into the game. So I just call those glitches. I don't think it was game breaking. They didn't happen constantly. I think that happened twice. And then I had one time where like the game, like something happened and it just crashed. Hey Becker, man, thanks for joining the chat, buddy. But yeah, it's a solid 8 out of 10 for me. And I'm waiting for this DLC. It might raise it up a little bit more. The DLC seems like it's like there's these games happening now that like kind of the main story's over. You're kind of able to relax and all the Na'vi come together and they play like kind of like the Olympics is how I'm going to just describe it right now. I haven't gotten too deep into it, but that's the way I kind of think they're going for it. But the story in the game, again, it's not amazing, but it's great. It good, maybe not great. So there'd be like good, great, and then amazing. This is probably just good. This game, the gameplay, that's where you need to come back for. I mean, I never was bored with the gameplay once I really started figuring out the leveling up system. I started getting bored when I hit that cap of 9 and I couldn't figure out why. And once I figured out what I was doing wrong there, I was off to the races. I was, getting to places much faster when I started finally using the fast travel more, locating those small little things all over the map and dropping in on them, taking them over real quick. I mean, we're talking like 30 seconds to a minute to take them over and you have a new fast travel point. Huge game changer for me when it came to pacing. And it was just like, here we go. And then I could just kind of pepper in a little bit of non-story, little side quest things here and there when I wanted, and then I could jump right back into story. There's just a balance to any game when you play them, but this game had so much going on in it that it was quite difficult for me to go, well, what do I do next? And should I focus on this? And now I'm leveled, kind of feeling level capped. And where do I go to not be level capped because I couldn't continue following the story because it wasn't gaining me anything. I needed to be, a high enough level to continue doing side quests that were above my level. So a little bit of a balancing trick there it did take. But man, once I figured it out, and I was so happy. I was so off to the races. For me, I would say, guys, like that was probably in the 6 to 7 hour range it took me to just really focus, figure out what I was doing wrong, and just start tearing it up. It became so much fun. I had a blast with it. There were so many cool moments that here and there that would come up, and the game's gorgeous. Like I mean, I never got tired of going back into the world and just seeing something new. There's so much different vegetation and just other things that you could just play around and, well, what's this? And like you find it and then you could figure out that what that is used for, if it's something in food or if it was something in, building or your materials for your, your avatar yourself, your Navi character to, be stronger, armor or whatever it was. Um, I I loved it. Like I really did enjoy it way more than I thought I would. And again, super slept on this game. I don't know if it is still on sale. It's probably going to be super hard for me to even look because now that I own it. But I am going to try and check real quick before I get out of here. Because all of you guys, I hope you guys can pick it up. No, this is the, was it Snowdrop engine that this is running on, Riles? And this thing, I mean it's gorgeous. Like it's absolutely mind blowing at points. Um, the let me see if I can find some more open footage here, maybe. See if I can find some of the world. I have a bunch, but I mean, like some of it, like this right here. I mean, just like the lighting and everything, just looks fantastic. Like truly, like it looks real good. I mean, you've got the dust particles in the air and everything too. Um, Hopefully, you guys are seeing that. I mean, I'm trying to stream here at 1080 for everybody if I can, but I mean, the game is in 4K. But not only the look of the game, but the feel of the game, like how smooth it was. I didn't really modify too much of like the controls when it came to that, but it was a very smooth playing game. And once you got used to, there's a slide in the game, and it's a very good slide. Like you feel like you're like really just on a slip and slide. I really liked that a lot. But once you got used to running and ducking and sliding, and I mean, you could fly through stuff. It was awesome, and that goes right back into maneuvering. It was well put together as well. I mean, you can get this game right now on GameFly for $25. I mean, come on, guys. 25 bucks for this game is a straight up steal. Um, and that would be a physical copy for all of you guys out there. That's the Xbox version. Look, yeah, same thing. Looks like you're able to pick it up anywhere when it comes to that kind of stuff. For right around $25-$30. Digital edition. Let's see if we can find that real quick. I mean, right in line. Looks like they're doing it the same way either way. I know on Xbox there was kind of a weird situation that I ran into with Xbox. I played this on Ubisoft Plus. Ubisoft Plus is also garbage, by the way. But they got me to spend $40 on the game because I spent a few hours in it and really liked it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. So anyway, Xbox version of the game I bought was full price still, like $109, I think it was. And I got it for no, I didn't get the 109 version. I got whatever the one right below that one was. But anyway, it was still full price on Xbox, but it's half price on PlayStation. So I don't understand what the case was on that. So I ended up just jumping ship. I left Xbox where I had my save file and I jumped over into PlayStation and played it. I was able to just skip cutscenes because I already knew what was going on in the story, and I was able to get through like 6 hours worth of footage or gameplay in like, oh geez, it was very little time. I probably did it in 90 minutes. Um, but this is some of the nighttime stuff in the game too. I mean, you can see how good it looks. Um, this is me just kind of seeing new stuff and little mini games to pull things off too, and you get graded on them as well that I didn't mention. You get like pristine, and whether you pick them in day or night will affect the quality of it too. So if you're doing it at the right times, you can see the vision, the red lines. That's also another thing I didn't really touch on during the main point of the review, but um, the red lines are like tracking animals and things like that, so you can see where they've gone. If you're pinning those animals, like in the top right corner, you can see I've pinned a route that I'm looking for. If you pin those animals or the parts that the animals give you, they'll show up in yellow. So you're able to know, like, oh, hey, there's my stuff. It's pretty close by, and you can get to it a little quicker. Um, so yeah, man. I mean, I dug it a lot. I was pretty happy with it. It turned green right there because I ran into one of these plants, these areas in the game where it's kind of poisoning you right now, and you're trying to get away. I'm getting riddled right now by some enemies on the planet. But I I I was really, again, I was blown away. I had a great time. The game looks phenomenal. It played great. Um, it's worth your time. It's worth your money. I beat it. I did some side stuff. I didn't do a ton of it. 50 hours. I was right at 50 hours when I finished it. And I'm going to go in for probably another 10 and get through the DLC and then wait for December to get around. And once December hits again, I'm going to jump into the next part of the DLC because it's just so much fun that I want to go back and check it out some more. Again, like, I'm a big story guy in video games, but it doesn't have to be the best story in the world if the gameplay makes up for it. Like, I'm there for it. And this is one of those games. The story's good, but and I mean, the story could be great for some people. Maybe if you have a bigger emphasis on like sentimentality, or like maybe you're just more of an emotional person than me. Like everything that's happening in the story and stuff it can be pretty emotional. Um, but for me, it was more like the gameplay and the overall feeling, and coming back and enjoying the planet and the little side quests, and always finding something different and new. Like, I mean, the planet is so rich when it comes to it. But I'm not going to keep babbling about it. I guess you guys get it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. The gameplay is key in this game. It was the point of contention for me. Kept me coming back every single time. And I had a blast with it. Final thoughts? Add soundtrack in the background so you got some good music going while you're playing. Focus on the gameplay. Don't forget to upgrade. Turn on the automatic puzzling stuff for sure. And use that waypoint and fast travel setup instead of your sense all the time to find where you're going. Stick a waypoint on there and just have a blast playing. That's it for me. I really dug it. I really liked it. I'll come back with the DLC, talk about the DLC. Probably in a week or two. That'd be my thought. If I get enough time set aside, I'll finish that DLC up here shortly. Again, I just started the DLC. Brand new. That's what I showed you there right before I cut it off. Showed you a little bit of the intro of the DLC and what you're doing there. So watch out for that. Follow me down below. Do all those little clicky things that everybody does. Follow, like, subscribe, all that. And let me know what you guys think of Avatar if you've played it. If you're planning on picking it up, what your thoughts are on it. And I like to talk video games. That's why I'm here. So thanks everybody who's been joining in on all the TikToks and the YouTubes and here on Twitch live now as well. You guys in chat are great. My boy has started his live streaming setup as well. So he's streaming there. If you want to follow him, his name is Mario Kart DVR. So you can check him out and watch him stream. He's into Overwatch 2 and he's streaming Dead Rising as well. So you check him out over there. There might be some times you'll see me and him on the same stream. We'll be streaming each other's stuff individually with each other. But individually with each other, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think you know what I mean. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. It's Sunday. It's fun day. It's time to go play some games. Catch you later.